Welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and today, well, we are at the corner of Laurel and Mechanic at the Mechanic Street Playground. This is a, well, relatively new playground in the sense that it's been a couple of years. We're celebrating the first year for the top section here, and then later on we'll bring you down to the bottom level, kind of show you how that came out. But it's a very nice park, and it's open for people to use. And it's not a day or a night I don't come by and somebody's sitting here and having breakfast or lunch or kids playing out in the field here. And that's the purpose of it. That's the whole reason. Anyway, instead of Art calling in today, got my sidekick Art with me today. The big Art's here. Good morning, afternoon.
So far, it's been a very busy morning and afternoon.
You had did you play golf today?
Yes, we did.
You already did?
We teed off at, I'm sorry. We teed off at 5:45, played 9, came home, made a run to the waste treatment plant, the dump rather, for yard waste.
Yeah.
Then went home, mowed the lawn, and then I got a phone call to come down here and have some fun with you
Yeah,
and
we
the folks
needed to
from
get you on.
LATV.
People been asking, and good friend of yours the other day by the name of Joe, who used to be a Leominster resident, then he moved to Fitchburg, but he still watches the show. And he said, hey, why don't you guys stop up sometime? And I said, well, Art's got a busy schedule, and sometimes, you know, there's a conflict. So my buddy Joe Fortunato,
Oh, okay.
my buddy Joe, and just so you know, his wife was just making biscottis when I drove by the house. What's the chances? I mean, just made them. And he said, you make sure you tell Art that my wife made these biscotti. They were so good. So they gave me a little tray of them, and I demolished them. I don't even think I made it off his street.
My daughter found a bakery in Framingham. The name escapes me. But it's like the old windmill pizza.
Mm.
The squares,
Yeah.
little powdered.
Thick.
Thick. Oh. We bought 2 sheets, and they wrap them with the white paper that doesn't stick to the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lost art, that kind of real Italian stuff. And it's funny you mention that. We were talking yesterday when we went to Italy. We were in Venice, and we were walking along the canals, and they stopped the tour, and a door opened, and it was like a 3-decker apartment building. And it was this big room that these people lived in, but they were cooking for the tour.
Oh, wow.
So we went into their house.
Yeah.
And you can't make this stuff up. I looked down the hallway, and there's the kitchen, and the woman is cooking at the stove, and 2 little kids hanging on each leg. And where the picture would be in the living room was a wall of wine that you could take a bottle
Wow.
of. And she made about 8-course meal. To this day, I don't know what it was, but I've never tasted anything so good.
See? That's important, huh?
Oh,
See, out of the whole trip, that's what you remember, right?
No. There's one. I'll show you how stupid I am. We got to the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
And there it was. And I never realized how big it is.
Is it big?
Huge.
How many stories?
Oh, God.
Well, these are 3-deckers.
I'd say
3
at
stories.
least 3.
3.
Yeah.
I
And
expected
it's
it
on
to
an
be that
angle
big.
like that. They had a cable like this around it,
Yeah.
holding it. I look over about 500 yards away. There's a food truck. Why not try a food truck in Italy?
Mm.
So I walked over and I said, I missed having a hot dog. I'll have a hot dog. It was like eating one of my shoes.
Really? It was so bad?
Oh, it was awful.
They just boiled it to death.
Never order a hot dog from a food
No.
truck in Italy. I mean, that doesn't take too many brains. But
So how was the golf game today? Did all
Good.
right?
It's it's amazing. All of a sudden,
cool in the
everything's
morning.
clicking.
It's nice and
It was
cool.
nice. Yeah, it was nice.
You feel alive. It's this
Yeah,
weather.
we had a good
When
time.
it's hot and humid like that in the middle of the day, you just don't feel like doing all
Yeah,
that.
they're feeling the pinch too with the folks and everybody not,
And golfing, yeah, people aren't
yeah,
showing up.
Yeah, they've had to do a lot. They had to initiate tee times during the week.
Stagger them out.
Special parking area when you come off the course with your cart. They disinfect it. It's really upset a lot of. Look at Foxwood. I mean, that's what.
Didn't upset me. I don't go there, but
No,
I know
no.
a lot of people like to go.
Oh well, there's no question about it. Just before this
They're
hit,
open though, right? Are they open yet?
They are, but I'm afraid to go down
Yeah,
there.
right. You can't be fooling around.
Because I'm not worried about me because I take the precautions. I'm worried about the other people
Right.
that take the precautions. And you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, especially down there. You never know.
You don't know what they've touched. You don't
What
even
state
know,
they're coming from.
And how do you keep a place that big sanitized? So I'm going to have to wait till it's over. Because I got out of there 2 weeks before they imposed the shutdown.
Yeah.
And I had got there right away. It was amazing. It's all timing. Computers run on
Right.
slot machines run on a computer
Yeah, they're not
chip.
going to lose.
It's a random rectifier chip, and it's running all the time. It's a clock. So there's no such thing as, it's all luck. And I sat down, and Rita was looking through her purse to give me some money to put in for her. I says, I'll split with you whatever I hit. What a mistake that was.
Then you had
Second
to
coin, bang. 800. I said,
Everybody's willing to split with you until you win.
yeah,
Then you're
800
like,
bucks.
"Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know about that anymore. That didn't seem like, that's because I didn't think we'd win, right?
$800. And then, I cashed it right out. And usually you don't hit 2 in a row. I hit 3.
Wow.
And I said, this is crazy.
Yeah,
And I stopped.
that's luck.
I brought it home. Yeah, well, it's the night I hit the big one. I thought she was going to have a heart attack.
How much was that? 50?
45,000.
How much?
45,000.
Crazy. Why didn't you split that with me? Huh, you guys?
It was-
Did you get a phone call saying,
It
hey?
was beyond crazy. I thought
That
it was
is-
4,500.
Wow.
There's a little meter on the left
Bells
corner.
going off. Everybody's looking.
Well, no, because it's the Hampton room. It's a high-end room. No spectating allowed.
Really?
There was one guy in there watching. But, yeah, because they didn't want you being bothered.
Right.
And it was a $25 slot machine.
Wow.
But it was there.
$25. I can't even imagine putting
Two
$25.
coiner. 50
I
bucks
can't
a bet.
even imagine.
But it wasn't my money. It was free play.
You couldn't, wait a minute. So you can't play unless you put two $25
No,
ones?
you can play one coin if you want.
Oh, okay.
But if you hit a jackpot, you only get half the money.
Right. So you
So
pumped
what's-
in two,
Correct.
$50.
Right.
Hit it once?
What happened was I was playing for, 20 minutes, and I had $1,200 up. My nephew was seated next to me. I said to him, do you want me to stop? What do you think I should do? He says, I'd keep playing. Hit the button, bang.
Right there and then.
Triple diamond, red 7. So the bells and whistles are going off. I look to my left, and there's a little meter. I saw 4500. I said
4,500. You were happy with 4,500.
And the lady come out. Congratulations. Passed me on the shoulder. And I said, Saturday night, 11 o'clock, 4,500 bucks. She looked at me like I asked her where I could jump off the roof. I said, what's wrong? She said, it's not 4,500. I said, well, it can't be 450 because I'm looking at it. She says, no, it's $45,000.
Wow.
I need a pill. I mean, it was.
Elizabeth, I'm a-coming.
And then, the funny thing is.
Was Rita with you?
Yeah, and my
so you
sister,
were worried
my
that
sister was there.
They were going to have the big one right
from
there. and then.
Connecticut. Oh, she went crazy.
Like, what do you do with that?
And I look over, and there's a gentleman about 100 feet away, if that.
You probably put in 39,000.
And he's going like this to me, man, because I'm waiting. They took the machine apart and tested it
Right.
to see if it was a malfunction. They do that anything over 10,000. So I looked at him. I said, "You want me?" He goes, "Yeah." So I
course
went
he
over.
does.
I said, "What can I do for you? Yeah. Do I know you?" And he says, "No, but when you get paid off, I could use 400." I said, "I bet you could, but I'm getting a check."
Was he serious?
Dead serious.
He thought, what the heck? I mean, he just did it for 45. Give me 1%.
That's.
He probably thought that he was the luck that got you the winnings. If he hadn't been there,
any
to bring you luck.
You have to be careful when you go to a casino. I don't care if you win 100 or 100,000. I was getting paid one night. It was a $1,200 cash payoff, and they had to tell you put your hand up, and they're paying me the money. And I looked up, and there were three guys about 50 feet away, and the one in the middle was counting with the person from finance and security. So I saw it, and I said, that's strange. And they paid me, and then the security guy said, I want you to stand here. We've been watching some guys, we call them counters. They'll count to see how much you're getting, and then they'll relieve you of that before the day's over. If you get on an elevator, walk to your car, whatever. I waited, and out of nowhere come a bunch of security personnel.
Wow.
They grabbed them, and off they went.
Wow.
So
See,
you have to be careful.
There's job risks associated, right? There come risks associated.
Yeah, well, you know, and I told
being
Rita,
a high roller.
we went to bed that night. This is a true story. This is a funny story, and I didn't plan it this way, but as a perk, they gave me this wallet. It says Lake of Isles on it, which they own the golf course across the street. And I had the check in here. I took the check, I put it in there, and I put it on the nightstand. And I'm laying in bed, and I'm looking at it, and I said, what if a mouse was looking for betting and come and took the check? That would be a real hassle to ask them to give me another check for $45,000. So I got up and I put it in put my pants on and put the wallet in it, and I slept in my clothes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
You were superstitious.
Very.
Huh?
So I said to Rita, when we leave in the morning, do me a favor. Don't go. We're waiting for valet park to bring my car up. I says, don't go telling everybody I just hit $45,000. She says, oh, I won't say a word. Got up the next morning. I says, make sure while we're waiting for valet, it takes 5 minutes. Don't be telling anybody, because they'll start bugging me for money. Okay.
Tell them you lost. They'll leave you alone.
We go down. We walk out in the lobby. We scan the ticket to get the car. Sit down on the little park bench they have there, waiting for the car. And there's about 20 people out there. Lady at the end says, so how'd you guys make out last night? Oh, he won $45,000.
So much for that.
Wow. Two of them come over. Really? How'd you get paid? Let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
see the
yeah,
check.
yeah. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's...
Could have signed autographs.
Oh, yeah.
Set up a little table.
For everybody that wins 45, about 100 lose.
No, I know. That's the sad part.
Oh, to my left, there were 3 machines. A lady was playing a $100 machine.
$100 machine.
Yeah.
$100. I could never even imagine.
She's cranking it, and she's feeding and feeding and feeding.
So she's going through thousands.
Thousands? I hear, Sonny. I look over and I said, you talking to me? She says, yeah, could you give me an attendant? They have a bank right in there in the room. It's no more than 20 feet from anywhere you go in there. Could you get me an attendant? I said, okay, watch my machine. I'll watch it. I go get the attendant. They come out. She says something. They leave. 4 guys come out. They're carrying stacks like this.
Wow.
Stacks 100.
Oh.
All wrapped. She had a paper bag with handles. She says, dump it in there. I said, did you hit a jackpot? I didn't see anybody out here. She says, no. I have a line of credit. Oh. I said, have you won any money tonight? Oh, no. I'm down 50,000, but I love this machine. Yeah. I says, how can you love something that's taking 50 grand?
It just keeps taking it from
Rita
you.
comes around the corner. We go to dinner. I says, I'm going to go back. I'll go with you. We go back. I sit down. I said, tell my wife, you lost 50,000 earlier? Yeah, I'm down another 50.
Wow.
I said, why don't you leave the machine? I like it. How can you like something?
She's vested in it.
Well,
she's waiting for it to hit. She's afraid she's going to leave. You'll walk over and put 10 cents in and hit big time.
I think hubby's taken the dirt nap and left her about $3 million. That's the story there.
You're watching Inside Leominster. Big Art from the Art Report is here tonight, today live. And yeah, it's a memorable moment because at LTV, they had to close down the production, and what was this over here, invading our privacy? They had to, I think it might be my grandkids. So they had to shut down the operation. They're moving to a new operation, and so for the next couple of weeks, we'll be out out in the community, right? And we'll pre-tape the shows and. They can run around right here. They can run around. My grandkids can like run around here for days without bumping into anybody. Yeah, so we'll be pre-taping the show, and so we'll go to different locations. And what maybe September, October, is that when they're kind of planning on opening?
Now,
so in the meantime,
that building? Is LATV on it?
LTV bought the building. Carl's been very careful, very conservative. Him and Tina. Been very, very, squirreling away, not just spending all the money, and a little bit over the last, 20-something years, and saved up enough to purchase a building, and
wow.
They were paying rent before, and this is state of the art, and it's got everything in it, huh? I mean, it's a remarkable building, and so yeah, everything on one floor too, right? It's pretty much everything on one floor.
Yep, on one
so we'll have new duds, yeah. We'll be sporting.
Got a couple slot machines in there.
I know it's.
But you talk about that win, the streaks. My nephew.
They can run around right here. Steph, they can run around here, all the way down through there.
I was gonna drive, but
You don't have to. They can just run around right over there. There you go.
You're seeing this live.
Hey, what the heck, right?
Yeah, my nephew.
It's summer. It's summer.
My nephew was in there, and they have a bank of slots that are in a circle. He says, I'm going to start on the $100 machine. Puts in 100, bang, hits it for $5 grand. While he's waiting to get paid, he slides to the next machine. Bang, hits it. When you win, they give you a W-2 form, has the time you hit.
Right, they want their taxes, right?
I have the W-2s of his copies at home. From his first hit, he had 9 in a row, different slot machines. Every time the girl left to go get his money, he'd continue playing another machine, and he would hit on it. $75,000 in 1 hour.
Come on. What I don't understand is, so say you win 45, say you win 10,000, you got to pay taxes on that, right?
And it's an over.
But what if you spend that $10,000 over 3 months at the casino and lose it all?
You lose.
There's no tax write-off for that, right?
No.
So you have to pay taxes on the winnings.
I think you do pay taxes on winnings.
You do?
But you
Right.
can get, they have a one-loss statement when you remember. You can go into the computer and you have wins versus
Oh, so they
loss.
keep track of it. You got a
Oh,
card
yeah.
and it keeps
Oh,
track
yeah.
of it. Cause,
We have a card for that.
so he won 75,000 in an hour.
In an hour.
Jeez, you guys are high rollers. I can't. I'm not even to the penny level stage. I couldn't do it.
He's
Could you
lost
guys go to
50.
the casino and start throwing money into the machines?
He's
I
lost
can't do it.
50,000 in an hour.
People like, I only bring $200, and when it's gone, it's gone. I'm like, that's $200. I work too hard for my money.
Well,
I can't do it.
Our philosophy is we
That's
only
your
spend
fun.
what we can afford to
Right,
lose.
it's your fun.
We don't go anywhere.
Right, it's your
There's
fun.
nothing for I golf in the summer.
No, but you like doing it. So my mother and my brother, they love to do it.
Once
but
a month.
They set aside X amount of dollars.
That's what
and
I
that's
do.
where they.
But I do what your mom does.
Yeah.
Every time she has a $5 bill, she puts it
Right,
aside.
right. You
I
get
do the
birthday
same.
money and that kind of
I
stuff.
generally play a $5 slot. Double diamond, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was funny, I was talking to Mark we saw him somewhere, and I said, how, you been going down? He said, well, we took the bus. I said, how'd Mom do? He said, she hit for 800. But because she had to wait for the bus to get home, she took the 800 and fed it back.
See, that's the problem. You got to go get
You
something
gotta
to
stop.
eat.
Oh,
Go do something fun.
Eat. There's another story. We decided we're going to eat at the food court one night because we weren't that hungry. The guy off in the corner, dressed like nice casual shirt, pants, standing there, comes over. We were half done, but we were done. He said, just leave everything there. I'll take care of it. We thought he was bussing tables. No, he sat down and ate our food.
Why not? What the heck?
Then I can say this here. I would never say it on Connecticut local TV. We went to see Bobby Rydell, Frankie Avalon, and Fabian. Golden Boys of Bandstand. Great show.
All in one
Yes,
night.
great show. We've seen them 3 times.
Amazing.
And we had front row seats, right against the stage. fact, Avalon come off and sang Venus to Rita.
Oh, Venus.
Anyway,
Oh, Venus.
all of a sudden this gentleman sits down, I'd say in his 50s, with a girl maybe in her 20s. He's got black wavy hair. He's from Pennsylvania. He's not there 3 seconds. I introduce myself to him. He doesn't say anything, and he goes like this. Waitress comes over, and there was 2 other couples with us. He says, run the table. Run the table? What does that mean? Brought us all drinks. Takes out 100, you're all set. He did that for the first hour before the show started. He ran the table 3 times, next to our table was the tribal council, with the people that run Foxwood, the real owners.
Yeah.
Ran their table, and one behind us. So he says to me,
Is this Win or something? The guy Win?
no, they had just, listen to this, what the hell is? I says, he says to me, what do you do for work? Just like that. I'm retired Digital Equipment Corporation, this, that. I said, what do you do? I've done all right, okay? All right. I'll leave it at that. What is another round? All of a sudden his beeper goes off, he leaves. The girl hadn't said a word all night. She looks over at my wife and she says, you know, he's gone. He's gone. He said, let's go for a ride last Sunday. We've been here ever since. That's a week.
He went out to get milk and he hasn't
No
been
luggage,
back yet.
nothing. He bought me all clothes.
Yeah.
He bought all kinds of stuff. I said, what does he do for work? She says, you don't want to know. Pretty obvious now what we were talking about. And
You mean he's not the custodian down there at the...
no.
No?
Nice guy. We were going back to the room at 1 o'clock. I stopped to get a slice of pizza. A hand comes over my shoulder, throws a 20 down. I got his pizza. I says, thank you. You're welcome.
He must have liked you.
I don't know.
You never found out what he did or who he was?
No, but it was pretty obvious. You know, I'm stereotyping.
He could have done a lot of things.
Yeah, but
He went out to get milk.
he went out to get milk, and they were gone for a week.
we know one thing is he didn't have to show up to work the next day.
His beeper went off a couple times when he was there.
Well, he might have been a doctor and he had to call in some prescriptions.
He
for
was
people.
not a doctor.
No.
No.
You figured that out right away?
That was easy. Yeah.
Hey, you're watching Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city. This is Art Bartlett from the Art Report. He's the guy that calls in all the time. Everybody knows who Art is, but sometimes just we can put half a face to the right. We can put half your face in. The other half's blocked today. We are 6 feet apart. We're all 6 feet apart. You guys are 2.5, but you got your mask, so we're all good. We want to stay healthy. And lots going on. Our numbers are really been, the state numbers are up around 1.7, 1.8 per 100,000. We're at 1.4, 1.3, and they take everything and average it out. So what they've been doing now is on Wednesdays, they issue that whole, unshadowed, then green, and then yellow and red. And so you want to be on the unshadowed section, the white section, and then, or green, because those are the best 2 to be in right now. That means the cases are very low. That means, and so they did that to make it oversimplified, because every day there's just so much information that comes at us about COVID-19. It's hard to figure it all out. So a while ago, Wendy started breaking it all down by communities of our size. So what they said is, you know what? We'll break it down per 100,000. Then that way it's fair for everybody. So it's fair for Lincoln or Harvard or Whately, Mass, or Amherst, Mass, or whoever it might be. It's fair for everybody. That way you get a kind of, but the problem is it really isn't fair, because we're a gateway city, an urban community, and it's hard to compare us. But they did, and we're right there. I mean, we're green, and soon I think we'll probably be on the unshadowed area, and in the white section, and our numbers are steady over a number of weeks, but that's pretty good for being a community this size. Manufacturing, retail, medical, all of that included, and our numbers are still down. So they did that for a number of reasons, so you could see exactly what the risk factor was in your particular community. In communities like Revere and Everett, and I think Malden, a couple of those places, they just haven't been able to get the numbers down.
It's raising
and they're in that red section, so they're higher risk. They can't send the kids to school. You know, we're at that. I know it's just everyone is like all through the summer. Go to school. Don't go to school. You know, my philosophy hasn't changed. It's still the same. Our numbers are down. They're low. If you're ever going to send the kids to school, now's the time. Don't force anybody to go to school that doesn't want to go to school, doesn't feel safe. Same thing with staff, but open them up now, because this is the time when the numbers are the lowest. We're going to kick in the flu season at some point. That's going to start a whole panic. So get the kids in, get them, let them get familiar and comfortable with their teachers while they can, and then. And get them familiar with Chromebooks and learning online. In the event that they have to learn online, they're much more familiar. But the numbers are, I assume, I mean, we're down to 7 cases and 2 on, they call it, kind of in waiting. They haven't been confirmed yet, or whatever it is. But the cases are low in a city this size. So we'll see. So at this point, we're at remote learning. Only 70% of schools around the state right now are have some form of in-person learning, and so I'm not sure if things change down the road or not, but it's kind of weird, because you see all these you see all these brochures coming out, back to school sales, and I'm like, back to school sales? That's right, back to school. We're not going back to school.
Framingham, 2 months. It's going to be 2 months of
homeschool, yeah. But the problem is, but I don't know what their numbers are, if their numbers are high or not.
I don't know.
But the problem is, in 2 months, flu season kicks in. We all start going back indoors, and that's how we pass this along. So now what do? 2 months into it, you just had 2 good months. 2 good months. 2 good months right now, uninterrupted, is like 6 months.
And
if you
it's
can
such
get
a nasty thing.
Oh,
I can't even.
You don't want to mess with it.
We have a family. My wife, one of my wife's best friends, just got home from rehab. She had it, and she was so close to going to the other side.
Yeah.
The doctor told her, we don't know how you beat this.
Yeah, it's tough.
And what she went through.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Now,
again, we wouldn't force, my model here, we wouldn't force somebody that had a husband or a wife, a significant other at home, or maybe the teacher or the staff member had a pre-existing condition. The last thing you want to do is put them in that risk, right? I mean, that risk. Same thing with students. Some students have a pre-existing condition. Some parents have done well with remote learning. They're doing almost like a combination of homeschooling and remote learning. They've been successful. Other families have called me and said, a grandmother called me and said, it's me that's taking care of my grandchild. I've got custody of grandchild. It's $836 a month now for childcare. I can't afford that, and I can't afford to stay home. Where do I come up with? That's not even a car payment. That's like 2 car payments, 3 car payments. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she says, we're all healthy and everything, and so our risk is low. But if they're not going to open the schools, now I read a lot of stories about people that have they have better financial means, so they've gotten together, and a bunch of them have pulled their resources together, and they're hiring a retired teacher or tutors to help, and they're getting 3, 4 like little mini schools together in people's houses, and that's how they're going to sort of homeschool, hybrid. That's how they're going to do it. But what if you don't? I mean, we're in a neighborhood here of working class people. These people have to go to work, whether they work construction or they work in the service-related business or in the healthcare business. I mean, these are people that work in the nursing homes, work at the hospitals, manufacturing, construction. These are working class families here. They have to go to work. Some of them work off shifts, so it's a little better. But who's going to be home with those kids and to make sure that they're paying attention to their lesson plans and all that?
Yeah.
Tough one.
If they're at home, like with my grandson's situation is, my daughter happens to work at the school.
So she's home.
So now they're going to have homeschooling again.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking, I said, that doesn't give Kelly a break to do some things that she'd normally do if Matthew's in school. So my wife's going to go down for a few days.
Stay there
and stay there and let
her
Kelly go about and do what she's got to do.
Sure.
Because it's an interruption in your lifestyle, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is some. And remember, we went into March and February, March, April, May, June, then school was done. And there's always somebody you can call, a friend or a relative or a neighbor, but not every day. I mean, we're going into months now. So my opinion hasn't changed. The numbers are still good. I think the governor has backed it up, people in science. I listened to a pediatrician the other day who was on WBZ, was on a guest on a show, and she's part of a number of national organizations. She's a pediatrician, has children. She said, get these kids off. Forget these little kids putting masks on them at, 2, 3 years old. They're not going to wear them. Get these kids in school. Let them stay as long as they can. And if you have to make a decision later on, but in a lot of areas, in a lot of age demographics, the numbers are going up. Younger people are carrying this. They're contracting it. They're carrying it, but they're not getting sick from it for the most part. And that is because, well, they're young and healthy, and if they get any symptoms at all, and the only reason they're finding them is somebody does get sick, and they contact trace, go back and find who have you been around for any length of time, and send them for testing, and that's how they're turning up.
And the economics of it. The other day, I was coming home from golf, and I pulled into Cumberland Farms in North Leominster. I said, this is crazy. There was no one there.
Yeah.
And I said, that's unusual. Even during the height of this epidemic, they'd be busy. And I go inside, and they got the yellow tape up.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can get their coffees anymore.
Right.
The state said that's like a buffet. You can't do it, so they shut down the dollar coffee.
Right.
So now all those people who are going in there for coffee and gas,
Yeah.
now they're not going. So that's going to affect them.
Yeah, it affects everything. And so some businesses have done well, and the swimming pool business and the picnic table business and lumber at the Home Depot or Lowe's, certain aspects have done well, and then others haven't so much. But luckily, people in town are still supporting local businesses, and the restaurants have had to, there's a cost to, renting these tents and having staff and going outside, and,
Mike at El Forno.
He put up a big tent.
He moves, he buys a building.
Yep.
He's starting all fresh
Yep.
at the old Sean Patrick's, and bang, that hits.
Yep.
I mean,
That's a tough one.
my
Tough,
wife
tough.
was his first customer.
Really? Yeah, when he was
She
in
worked
Pittsburgh.
at Roberts Chrysler Plymouth on Water Street. She called him up for some orders for lunch and walked in, and we used to, when we both worked, we'd go there every Friday.
Yeah.
It was delicious food.
Mike's a hard worker, and he's got
Nice guy.
dedicated hard worker, man. I watch that guy. He's like a bull.
Nice
He
guy.
works hard.
He just
He's done well. Good for him.
My daughter and son-in-law, he had a place in Framingham. Every time there was a function, family function, we'd go there. And he was very appreciative. He ended up closing it, but
Yeah, he closed the one in West Boylston, too.
yeah.
But I think he sets them up. He's got one in maybe
Acton?
Littleton or Acton,
Littleton,
something
Acton
now.
somewhere,
and
yeah.
that looks like that's the one you got to find. Well, sometimes you got to know when to cut your losses, right?
I
And
went
just
to
say
pick
it-
up a prescription the other day at noontime. His place was jammed
yeah,
with people.
up there in North Leominster.
In fact, I
there.
saw a gentleman coming out. He had his army fatigues on. He had 6 bags with the handles, big bag, coming out. I said, well, those they're probably going down to the armory to eat.
Right.
Going to feed some of the boys.
Yeah, it's been tough for a lot of businesses, and some of the taverns have got them open, got them into the food part of it all. But then the governor said, hey, listen, these people are masquerading as bars, and bars are kind of breeding grounds. But the bars here aren't like nightclubs. They're not the old style nightclubs, the old Mohawk, or the Cinema Lounge or the Tiki Hut or whatever. Those had lots of people. I can see that. These are just little small. But you know what? I mean, you can't. If it isn't one size fits all,
You have to shut it
then
down.
it becomes, well, what about me? And my circumstance is a little bit different. I get it, but
Yep.
it's tough because these people have been paying rent, and it's been hard for them to hang in there. And for local businesses, we do still have funding under our community development block grant program, and and so it's $2,500. It's an outright grant, so you don't need to pay it back. So if you're a local business and affected by COVID, which is everyone, there is some criteria to meet, some conditions to meet, but it's $2,500. That'll help you pay your rent and get through some tough times. But I have to say, Art, it's what's surprising me the most, and I know we've worked hard, but it's surprised me is that plans to do certain projects haven't backed away from it all. So they feel confident enough that to forge forward. So down at they're going to change formats over there at Ryan Time, and so Mike is moving forward with his plans, and they're working in there. And another project in the old Auntie Ellen's downtown, the old bakery, person is going to be taking it over, and they're working in there now. He's forging forward with his plans. And you know what? People that know what they're doing in certain businesses,
Some doctors.
they're going to do well.
Some doctors. Cataldo, we go to in Fitchburg.
Mm-hmm.
You go to him, and he's got his appointment scheduled so that you're the only one going in.
Right.
So you go in, you go right in, and you leave.
So
and
there's no waiting in the lobby.
He's got like 15-minute intervals.
Right.
So you're not sitting in it. But our GP, he's been shut down since it started.
Really?
Yeah.
He still
And,
hasn't opened.
No, he's not open yet, and we're starting to get a little antsy.
Is he a young person or?
Just
she?
him, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe the retirement age, maybe. Or?
His nurses are still there,
Yeah.
and Rita talks to them
Yeah.
because she's
maybe
been
he's
needing a lot of.
maybe he's just
work,
gonna
but-
time to retire or something. You know?
I asked her that yesterday, and she said no. They said no. They're going to open up in September.
Oh, all right.
maybe.
Well, you know, this telemedicine stuff, this, you know, on the phone. I mean, there are a lot of things that, you know, don't you wish sometimes that something happens? You're like, I got to bother the doctor and cut into their time and schedule an appointment. Wouldn't it be nice to just be able to say, hey, can you dial in at 8 o'clock and I'll just tell you what's going on?
It sure has changed,
Yeah.
especially doctors.
Oh,
I
everything's
remember going
changed.
to Dr. Wheeler when I was in Little League. I broke this finger and dislocated it big time. I mean, it was over here. And my mother took me to Charlie Wheeler, went in his office, have a seat, sits down, he goes, what is that? He's looking out, and I turned to look, he just took it, wham.
Yeah.
Do that today, they'll sue you.
Yeah. Oh, it's a different world, and we expect more from medicine today, right? I mean, look at today. There's so much that can be done, and so many different medicines that help people, and people are living longer. I said at the graduating class this year, 2020, I said, you'll be around. You better make plans. You better start to think about long-term planning, because you're going to be around till you're 105, 106 years old is nothing.
My golf
Mr.
partner-
Schofield's 106. I said, or 108. I said, that's nothing. What lady the other day that was saying, a person that lived the longest so far, she's 116. But that's 100 will be very common by the time the graduating class of 2020 gets to that age. They'll all be living, they'll be growing livers and pancreases and.
Play with Jerry Arsenault every day, he's 92. Hits the drive like.
Really?
Oh,
At 92 years old.
old hockey player
Yeah.
in Canada, and that's how his
Hard worker,
t-shirt.
probably, right?
He was in charge of maintenance at the big paper mills up there in Lee, Mass.
Yeah.
He's from Gardner, and it's just it's amazing what some people do today, nowadays with,
Yeah, it's amazing.
with all
Just-
the things that are
just
going
incredible.
on. It's amazing to
Physical
me.
therapy, do knee replacements and release you in the afternoon.
I know, and they walk
Heart
out.
replacement. I mean, just incredible. Kidney transplants, heart transplants.
It's beyond belief.
They can attack the protein to fend off the cancer. I mean, there's a lot of things they can't do. Clearly, people still, pass from certain diseases, but your chances are better, right? Your life expectancy is better.
Yeah, there's no question
You're
about
watching
that.
Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, and Big Art from the Art Report is my co-host tonight, doing a great job. Getting a little overcast here today, right aside of St. Cecilia's, and it's a beautiful little park. And still people ask me, like, can we use it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, come down. The reason we didn't build a specific field, like a baseball field here, or a football field, is we really wanted to keep it all purpose. So if kids wanted to come and just throw Frisbee around and play, there's all this equipment that's here. People are always here eating. I see people that regularly come here and eat their breakfast in the morning,
Run
eat
out on the
lunchtime.
lawn and
Oh yeah, take a football and now. So this is the first section up here. It was a number of phases. First phase was buying the property, tearing the building down. Sort of third phase to this was a grant that we got from the city through Wendy, working hard on a grant. She writes a good grant so that when people see it, she tells the story about the neighborhood and the people that live here and how this is going to impact people, about how it has how it helps with the rejuvenation and the renovation and new life that it gives birth to a neighborhood like this, how it's next to the church and the history of the church, and builds that all into the grant. These are tenement houses here that were built for manufacturing when people came from Canada, and they came for a number of different reasons in manufacturing, not just plastics, but pianos and wood and toys and everything else. They came here, they worked hard, but this was the housing so they could walk to work, right? When people didn't have automobiles. And so French Hill's still alive up here, and it's obviously this a number of different ethnic groups that live here that call, French Hill their home. But so the backside here, you guys, you got to, how much time we got here going here? Art and I can talk all afternoon. 15 minutes? All right. Let me just do a little walk if you guys want to walk down, Keith.
Yeah.
We'll
I'll let you
disconnect.
guys enjoy your walk.
Thank you. Hey, it's nice to have you on the show.
It was fun being here.
And Joe Fortunato says we'll have to stop up, and I kind of think his wife might prepare something if we were to stop by. But, he's up in Fitchburg, and he used to live here in Leominster, but he said, he's up there, but he watches the show religiously and says, he enjoys listening to you and watching
The one adjustment I had to make going to Italy was the first morning we had breakfast. They put a colander of milk on the table. So I saw a glass of milk. Don't touch the side. Use a hand thing. It's very hot. It's boiling hot milk. I said, why would you want boiling hot milk? And then she poured my coffee, and she put about that much in the cup. It was so strong.
Yeah.
When you put your milk in, you really had to hit it with a lot of milk, so they made sure it was hot. I mean, it would take the enamel off your teeth.
There's a lot of adjustments you've had to make between winning big money, golf, right? And and traveling the universe.
Oh, and the police there, by the way, they drives an Alfa Romeo.
I know, yeah.
Because our bus was in a big wreck on a highway going to Venice. And
were you on it?
Yeah.
Got in an accident?
It was a fatal. She ran into the
Really?
back. Oh, it was brutal. Ran into the back of the bus. Puts the bus out of the thing.
Somebody
I
hit you?
videotaped it.
Somebody hit you guys?
Yeah, going up a hill to Venice. But from here to maybe, I don't know, the next street over, Carter Street, was a rest area.
Yeah.
So we walked from the bus to the rest area to wait for another bus. And while we were there, we hear this squealing tires. Alfa Romeo pulls in. Guy gets out of the Alfa, blonde hair, about 6'3", comes over. You guys all on the bus? I said, yeah, we were. Everybody okay? Yeah, blah, blah, we're talking. I said, you're a police officer? He says, yes, I am. I'm originally from Bethesda, Maryland.
Oh.
My father, he says, I was an army brat.
Wow.
Fell in love with Italy. He says, I'm single. I get to drive an Alfa.
Wow.
And he says, look at that one walking by. And he says, is there anything any better than that?
Yeah, I guess so. There's a little romance going on over there to
Oh,
the
yes.
left. No,
Yeah.
over here.
Oh.
That's what these parks are for,
Oh,
holding
well, see,
hands
you just
and
never
hugging
know.
and kissing.
No.
That's good stuff.
This is
That's it.
inside
romance
Leominster
in
is
the
now
park. No, but I'm just
X-rated.
saying it's actually romantic here. They're holding hands and
inside Leominster.
that's what goes on. I mean, this is probably one of the best things that we were able to do in the city. I know there's Shoalin Farms, that's a big deal, but this has changed the whole. It's changed the whole look of the neighborhood, and they've not had a place. There's no place that anybody could.
When you drive by, this is the first thing you see.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
No, imagine that. When we were kids, there was not. I mean, there was. For a short time, there was 2 basketball hoops at the old Spruce Street School, and then they tore down and put Hurley housing. Whitney Field, but that was gone in the 60s, the early 70s. So up until now, there's really been nothing up here. There's no place where kids could. That's why they asked. They're like, is it okay if we go there? I said, what do you think? I think they think it's like a wedding venue or something, and that you need permission to come here, or that maybe it belongs to the church. So they're always asking me, like, is it okay if we play here? And I'm like they're doing something wrong. I'm like, no, absolutely. All right, Art.
Okay.
Good to see you. Tell a reader I said hello. And we're back here inside Leominster, and that was a fun visit with Art from the Art Report. He's on here with us weekly, and we're able to get him live. As I said earlier, LTV is moving to a new location, which means they had to sort of deactivate the current studio so they could move in their effort to try to overlap. That's kind of hard. So instead of being in the studio, we'll be outdoors, and we'll be in the community for the next couple of weeks at least. And the backdrop here today is St. Cecilia's Church. And, it just brought to me the thought of how many we lost in the past several years. Father Gauguin and Father Brusso, Father Dunavay years ago, but thinking about that statuous, look at that church behind me here, and Steve Fontaine, who worked for so many years down at Home Depot, a fixture. Anybody that knew Steve or went to Home Depot knew Steve. and passed away suddenly the other day, and couldn't help but to think of the church, because I just remember Steve doing a pen and ink drawing of St. Cecilia's Church that I think I purchased one of the first ones that he did, and I was just so amazed by. Well, it had more meaning than normal, because while Steve was a artist, at the same time a member of the church here, lived in the neighborhood, so it had much more meaning, and you could tell just by looking at it. So our condolences to he and his family, and yeah, very much a fixture to this church in this neighborhood. And I just couldn't help looking at that church today as our backdrop and thinking about when he did that ink and pen drawing. That was so amazing, and I think it's on the brochure, the front of the daily or the weekly mass schedule. So anyway, we're here on Mechanic Street. I just wanted to take you down to show you the second phase of this project. And again, we wanted to keep this all-purpose. We wanted people to be able to come, and just while we were sitting here, people taking walks through the park here, and kids playing in the background on the playground equipment. There's a small piece of playground equipment here. We left a little area down here for sliding in the winter. But trees are all planted by that state program that we're in partnership with, greening the gateway, greening to the gateway, and that program has been successful. Still hoping to plant trees if you're interested in trees for your property. There is a certain area of town that they're aiming towards, but give us our office a call at 978-534-7500 extension 0, and we'll get you hooked in. But there's a beautiful walking path down here, and this is one of the unique things here is there's a huge area down there to do a pickup game of anything, frisbee, anything. I mean, baseball, soccer, anything, and people have certainly been using it. But let me just show you. There's kind of like a little amphitheater here, and if somebody wanted to do a small concert and comply with all of the regulations, state requirements, you could have a band play up right in here, small band right here, and then the audience could be seated in this area down here, and or vice versa, or you could have people sitting on the wall here and the wall there, just sitting here, or you could do picnic tables, or chairs or whatever it might be, and the band could be performing, or you could have a theater performance down there. And so I really like this. I think this is pretty cool. And anyway, there's a huge area to play in here. So again, if you're coming out looking for something to do, this got a really nice walking path here, kind of oval walking path that you can, we haven't timed it yet, but I think it's like 3 or 4 times around is a mile or a half mile. I'm sure somebody has one of those that they can track. And out in the backdrop over here is the Louis Charpentier Playground, and the water park is still open, but it's frequently used, and it's got some jungle gym equipment, etc. But it's been a great addition to the neighborhood, and a dream of mine. I never thought it's always a piece of land that I knew existed, and never thought we'd be able to actually purchase the piece of land, but we did with grants and a small amount of city money that we use for it. But it's here now, it's here forever, it'll always be a park. And I gotta tell you, people take care of this park. There's people care for it, they know how important this park is, and how there's been nothing down in this area. And at some point, there's another piece of city-owned land on the other side of this, between Spruce Street, Wells Court, and 3rd Street. And we'd actually someday like to be able to build a small community center. And that sort of would be the last phase of this part of the project. But it's beautiful here. So this little bank in here, we kind of built into the project, figuring that in the wintertime when they get snow, kids can use this as a little sliding hill here. Hey, when you're a kid, that hill seems like Mount Wachusett, right? Yep. You get older, but for little kids, this is a perfect spot. And yeah, we might even do a small ice rink down here. So it's got tremendous potential. And again, it's got a small jungle gym over there. You can see kids are playing on it now. And just a really nice place. It's peaceful here. We left as many of the trees up in the back that you see on the Laurel Street side. We left most of those mature trees that were still in good condition. We really wanted to do whatever we could to maintain them. It's well lit at night and it's safe, and you know, we left enough of a path in here to ride your bike and to walk, but also so that emergency vehicles and police vehicles could get through here to patrol. There's also gates at either end, so this isn't a road for people to cut through. This is for public safety and, again, for people to walk and ride their bikes. But for little kids that want to come down and just ride on their little tricycles or little electric scooters or whatever, a good place to do it. But eventually these gates will be closed and then only emergency vehicles will be allowed in here. So it's a beautiful park, and it's you know, it's extensive. If you want to burn some energy off for kids, take them down here and bring a frisbee or even a kite. There's enough room down here to fly a kite. And if you want to do a little pickup concert here, and you've got a couple people together, and you want to set up down here, you know, by all means, come on down. This is a great place. So we're how much time we got going here? We're
7 to 10 minutes.
Okay, 7 to 10 minutes here. So a couple other things I wanted to talk to you about today is thank you for your patience through COVID. I mean, it's been a haul for a lot of people. We lost a lot of friends, dear friends, and people that, you know, residents of the city who had family outside of the city who were in nursing homes or in the hospital, and some survived, some didn't. And it's sad for a lot of families, and especially when you can't get in to see your family. At the time, they had hospitals and nursing homes and care facilities locked down, and that's when we were in crisis mode. So it is important to continue to be vigilant, to keep our numbers down. They are down. We're well below the state average. We're in what they call green. It goes unshaded, green, yellow, and then red. Red would be the worst. Unshaded would be the best. And we're right in that category there, which means things are good. And when you think about how many manufacturing operations we have here, retail, how much is open, and to see those numbers continue to be so low, that just means that people are paying attention, they're being vigilant. And that's what we need people to continue to do. Just to update you on a couple of projects that are happening in town. We'll be doing a fall paving project here in the city. We will also be working, the bid for Route 13 is out, so there's going to be major construction between the lights up by Jiffy Lube up in that area where Wyman's is, all the way down to the State Police Barracks, including new lights going in where Sunoco Station was, where the Armory is, or Baker Cadillac. That is happening now. That's out to bid. That may start this year, but more than likely it'll probably start next year. The bike trail is underway. They are aggressive over there, working diligently on that project. And so all of our projects have continued. We haven't delayed on any of them. The police station project is in full swing. Are you leaving, Steph?
Yeah.
I'm just a couple minutes.
All right, we'll walk
Trying to talk my grandkids into staying. They were the kids on the jungle. We didn't set that up, by the way. That was all, they were just happened to pull into the park. And so it's a lot of projects. We haven't slowed down on anything. The police station project's moving forward. Any of the projects that we had either grant funded or funded by the city, we're continuing to move forward. We'll be doing about $250,000 worth of sidewalk projects in the school facilities themselves. These are sidewalks that we noticed over time were beginning to deteriorate, and with so many people that use the buildings, especially when we have an event at, say, the high school or some of the schools, and you have people from the community and sometimes elderly people coming into the building, you really want to make sure that those areas are safe for everybody. So those are some of the things that we're working on. And a big thank you to the Recreation Department this year. We didn't want to just cancel everything. We went to great lengths to be safe, but also not to cancel everything. So the water park and the park here open all summer. The water park, now we had to limit how many people could be in there at once, so that took some work and effort, and we had to sanitize and keep everything especially clean. But we do anyway, and the same thing with the pool on Viscaloid Ave. We wanted to keep that open. Same thing with the water park down at Fournier. We didn't want to cancel the opportunity for different leagues to continue to be able to have competition within their leagues, whether it be softball or the Bravehearts or whatever it might be. So we continued on with that. We did the best we could, and sometimes it gets a little challenging, but We didn't want to just cancel everything and say for the summer the risk is too high and we're not going to have anything. And I think we've been pretty successful based on the numbers that you see. So thank you for your cooperation. And we ran summer programs in camps. Couldn't run it to the levels that we did before, but we ran them, and it gave us some practice for other things. So there'll be events. We couldn't do, the Beer Fest, and we couldn't do Summer Stroll, and there were a lot of things that we couldn't do in Taste of Leominster. So we've kind of reformatted things, and we're doing things differently. We're not going to cancel the holiday events and the Festival of Trees. We're going to do them differently so there aren't any crowds. So there's never any venue where there is, 50 or more people. And the Johnny Appleseed Festival, I know Rick Marchand worked right to the end until the governor just came out with the new regulations just a week ago. But he was still hoping to be able to do it, but spread it out. So instead of having it just in that one downtown area, it would have went down through the front of Allen's, would have went down towards Central Street, and that would have really spread it out. But the the state is saying it's too much of a risk and it's too many people. So it's we're not going to cancel. There are some things that we have to or had to, but we are still going to have events, and we'll make them safe, and I think you'll be happy with them. So, we're just so accustomed to having events in town. We're so accustomed to that social piece of it, where the Johnny Appleseed Festival or the Festival of Trees or Ladies' Night Out or wherever it might be, we're so accustomed to seeing people we haven't seen maybe in a whole year or haven't seen in a while. It's like old hometown. And some months we're doing 3 and 4 events, and we do Spend the Holidays in Leominster, which starts right around Thanksgiving. It goes all the way to the end of January, to the beginning of January. So I'm not sure about concerts like the Colonial Band, Montechusett Chorale, some of those things. I'm not sure. I know they're hopeful, but fingers crossed, maybe it will work out. But in the meantime, thank you for your patience, and we're not giving up, and we're going to try to reformat ourselves so that we can continue to have some of the events that you've had before. They may look a little bit different, they may be a little bit different, but they're just as much fun and an opportunity to create and share those memories with your family, friends, and community. We're out of time here at Inside Leominster. I want to thank you, Bradley and Keith, for coming out. We'll be on the road, as they say. We'll be on the road for the next couple of weeks till we can get into a permanent studio. But keep up the good work. When our numbers are low, keep it up, and come on down and visit this park. It's just beautiful here. It is great to hear these young, happy voices, kids having fun. And you know what? There's so much room here. I guarantee your kids will sleep pretty well at night. All right, thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.